Okay, so in this, I'm going to break down the billion-dollar industry that is high-ticket sales, how people are using this to make thousands monthly, and how you can do the exact same. All right, so high-ticket sales is very simple. You've probably seen a lot of it online, but at a fundamental level, the reason that it exists is because business owners, Instagram creators, influencers, you name it, they've built up a massive audience and they are too busy to be able to deal with the amount of traffic, the amount of inbound leads, and the amount of people that are texting them wanting their product or service. Okay, so in order to make sure that they are not missing out on thousands and thousands of revenue, they hire sales teams, which is where we come in. Okay, so they need setters and closers to help them seal the deal, and this is where we come in and we act as the middleman. All right, so at a very basic definition, high ticket sales, all that you are doing is selling an expensive product or service, typically priced anywhere from like $1,000 up. Okay, the highest that I've seen personally is a $28,000 ticket, right? And if you're a setter, industry standard, you earn like 5% commissions. If you are a closer, you earn 10%, which is standard. I've seen higher and I've seen a bit lower, all right? So let's just say you sell a $5,000 ticket. You're going to get $500 for each sale as a closer. Pretty good, right? When I was selling, my very first offer was a 6.8K real estate ticket, so I was getting like $680 per sale. So if you do the math, it can stack up pretty quickly, okay? The reason that this works so well is you're not selling a load of small, cheap products for like $100. You're selling higher price items, so you have to sell less of them to make more, okay? And the way you do this is by being a trusted advisor. You're not a salesperson, you're not a cashier, you're not a money-grabbing, sleazy salesman, but you have to treat it like you are a trusted advisor, okay? Just the same way a luxury real estate agent sells a lifestyle and investment, not just a house, you have to sell the desired outcome and the transformation, not just the product, okay? People are paying thousands of money because they have something that they want solved. You are the person, or the offer is the person that can help them get there, and they will happily pay to be able to get their desired outcome. That's all they care about. Not you, not the product, not the offer, not the features, but getting to the desired outcome, okay? To be able to actually do high ticket sales, there's a few skills that you need, and this is where like high ticket sales and remote sales differs to your tech sales, insurance sales, car sales, XYZ. It's a much more of an emotional sell, all right? So you need to be able to fundamentally communicate. That's the biggest thing, and be able to actually persuade people, okay? And what I mean by that is the best people, the best consultants, I should call it, the best therapists, they have the ability to actually build trust and address customer concerns whilst still guiding them through the process, okay? If you speak to like a really good closer, it just feels like you're talking to one of your friends. Why? Because they're able to just communicate and converse with you so well to the point that they've just solved all of your issues without you realizing. And that's how you want to approach it, okay? You don't want it to be like an awkward conversation. How much money do you have? It's literally just a consultation. Can we help you? How can we help you? Why do you want help? And guide them through that process, all right? Then you need to know sales psychology. You need to be able to put yourself in someone's shoes, practice empathy, and understand where they are, what's motivating them, like what emotions are they going through, and understand what they might need your help with to make the best and the most informed decision. The more and the better you are at showing up as that person that understands them, the easier it is for them. The more money they make, the more money you make. Cool. Then you need emotional intelligence. It's the basic human ability to be able to understand people, help them realize the problem for themselves and why they need to make a change. You're not the person with the problem. You're not the person that needs to make a change. They've came to you. They want your solution. You have to be able to help them do that. Okay? But obviously, we don't always act in our own best interests, so you'll probably have to handle objections, you'll have to handle concerns, maybe little things that are just coming up that is flagging for people because they might not fully understand it yet. So you have to know how to handle basic stuff like price, trust, need, timeline, XYZ to help them make the most informed decision. All right. And then lastly, you have to be able to know the serious, high quality buyers versus the time wasters. All right. This is a game of time. It's a game of abundance. And time is money. No matter what world or industry you're in, time is money. So if you can't help someone, you have to let them know that. If you can, you have to realize that, and you have to help them the best way you can. Okay. Examples, what even are high ticket items? You could have your coaching programs, you see them all online, $2,000 plus. This could be like trading, forex, crypto, sales, you name it, it's there. Okay. Then you have masterminds, which could be like in-person events or online courses, things like that. These can be sold as well. All right. You also have real estate packages. Once again, my first offer was a real estate offer for 7K ticket. Consulting services like infographics, freelancing, copywriting, things like that. You could have premium softwares, you could have SaaS, which is software as a service, or you could have luxury goods, cars, watches, XYZ. Okay, so anything of high value and high price is considered a high ticket and can be sold. All right. So what do you need to know before you get started? First and foremost is the way you turn up your energy, your confidence, your charisma, the way you look, the way you talk, the way you speak, the frequency. That's what people will buy. Okay? Your confidence will beat experience every day of the week. You don't need to have 10 years plus. You don't even need to know sales, right? But what you do need is the confidence to come in, lead a conversation, ask the right questions, and just guide someone towards a decision that serves them. Okay? You need to sell the transformation, not just the time. Because if people are coming to you, it's because they have a dire need that they want solved. They aren't paying for your hours, they're paying for the outcomes. And you need to have full conviction in what it is that you sell so that you can convey that energy, communicate it clearly, and help them get to the desired outcome. All right? This is probably the biggest one, and it's probably where I see a lot of people making mistakes. Your mindset is just as important as your strategy. In fact, it's probably the most important thing, right? Because the way you think here about yourself, about sales, about becoming the person you want to be, about your offer, is going to affect everything else. It's going to affect your subconscious, okay? And if you don't do the inner work, and if you don't confront the way you view life and the way you view everything else, it's going to come up in multiple areas. Even if you start making money, your subconscious and your old identity will come out and it'll try and self-sabotage you, okay? And what I mean by that is, if you're a perfectionist, you're going to dilly-dally and you're not going to feel confident jumping in before you're ready, okay? If you fear rejection, you're not going to want a price job or hold your ground because you're afraid of saying no. If you have a massive ego, you're not going to be willing to learn from people that are ahead of you and take criticism well, okay? There's so many different ways in which your mindset will interject, right? And it will cause you to sabotage yourself before you can even get started. So this is designed to help you rewire your beliefs and start acting like the person that you want to be, right? Lastly, and I have to preface this is not a get rich quick scheme, okay? Can you make a lot of money doing this? Yes. Does that mean it's going to happen overnight? Heck no. Okay, high ticket sales can change your life, but it takes practice, it takes consistency, it takes patience, it takes turning up constantly, actually doing the work, spending the time doing it, and then the results can be massive, right? A lot of people have been sold the dream of you're just going to sit on a beach and take one call a day and make thousands. Hypothetically, could you? Yes, but it's not that easy, okay? So you have to be willing to put in the work to actually get the result that you want and to be coachable, okay? Cool. If you are someone that fits that description and you want to see if high ticket sales is for you as well, click the link down below in the description and let's jump on a call and just have a free value chat, see if this is even for you. All right. Last but not least, what do you actually need to get started as a high ticket sales rep? All right. When you're on an offer, you're going to need basic sales skills. You don't have to be a master, but you're going to need basic skills or at least the willingness to come in and learn them, okay? So you don't need years of experience, but you do have to be willing to understand the fundamentals, how to handle your objections, your discovery questions, close them with confidence, and just being coachable, okay? Which is where I come in, all right? It's a strong communication game. You have to be able to speak to people. You have to be able to communicate like a human, not a robot. And also you have to know how to listen, understand, interpret, and then convey, okay? Your tools, you need a laptop, a phone, and good Wi-Fi. That's pretty much it. You can do this from anywhere at any time. You just need those three. Like, that's a must because that's your tools of the game, okay? Obviously, as you go up the ladder and you have the money to invest, I would recommend getting stuff like this, a Blue Yeti, probably the best microphone, a MacBook, really good investment, a monitor. But that's when you can start making a good bit of money and reinvesting back in. Okay, a reliable work ethic will take you so far, and you will outwork people that have been in the game for years. I promise you. That's literally what I did. Okay, high ticket sales, high responsibility, right? You need to be in charge of your pipeline, following up with leads, hopping on calls, staying organized, reviewing your calls, and staying disciplined. Especially if you work remotely, it's not a 9 to 5 in which someone is overlooking you. You are in charge of your own money, which means whatever way you act off the call is going to affect how your business runs and how your money runs and everything else. Okay, a personal brand helps massively. Posting content, showing people like what you do, what you offer, and just building your network. Some of the best opportunities I've had have just came through my network and just people knowing me and seeing what I can offer. Okay, so a lot of brands might want to just see some like level of professionalism, whether that's in your loom or that's in the way that you come up. So that helps a lot if you have a good online presence. Okay, second last, that doesn't make sense. You need a knowledge of the offer that you're selling. Okay, it's very hard to convey and communicate value to someone if you don't really know what it is that you're selling. So, one, you need to understand what you're selling. Who's your ICP? Who's it for? What pain point does it solve? And the more conviction that you naturally have in your offer, it's going to be so much easier to sell it because you know the value. You see how it helps people. It's a no-brainer for the person on the other end of the call to not buy it. And then naturally, you're going to come from such a good place of abundance, as opposed to if you're just trying to sell someone some random thing that they don't know, you don't know if you can help them. You're going to get commission breath. They're going to feel your commission breath, and it's just going to push them away. Okay, so getting on an offer that's aligned with you as a person. If you're an athlete, getting on a fitness offer, something like that, it'll be so much easier to sell because you're just communicating what you already believe in, right? And then last but not least, the most important thing, you need an offer to sell for. It's all well and good having the skill set, right? But if you don't have someone to sell for, then it's hard to make money, okay? So you need to get hired by a business that sells a high ticket offer. So coaches, agencies, info products, consultants, you name it, or partner with someone that needs a closer. Okay, there are tons of opportunities out there if you know where to look. Every day there is someone who turns 18 that wants to get into something online. Every day there is a business owner that has just fired a rep. Every day there is a agency looking to hire. Okay, so the opportunities are out there. You just have to stay patient and put in the work to actually go out and get them. Okay, and on the other side of it is a lot of cash and a lot of freedom when done right. All right, I'm gonna save the screenshots for the next time. But yeah, that is pretty much what high ticket sales is. If you have any other questions, just feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, peace.